Welcome back to the Stoic Tube, the lone wolf, understanding the Sigma male's nature and social distance. Sigma males are often described as the lone wolves of the social hierarchy, enigmatic, independent, and silent observers. Unlike the alpha males who dominate social groups with charisma or beta males who follow social norms to blend in, Sigmas walk their own path. Their very nature sets them apart, creating a natural distance from traditional friendships. The Sigma mindset: independence over belonging. The core reason Sigma males often find themselves without friends lies in their fundamental prioritization of independence. To a Sigma, freedom is more valuable than social approval. They view relationships and friendships through a different lens than most. Rather than seeking validation or a sense of belonging, they seek authenticity and self-mastery. A Sigma male doesn't crave a large social circle. He doesn't go to parties to collect friends or likes. He prefers solitude or very selective company, where interaction is meaningful and free from superficial demands. This preference often makes them appear aloof or disinterested to others, which inadvertently creates a barrier to friendship. Real-life example: imagine Alex, a talented software developer who prefers working from home and spending weekends hiking alone. His colleagues often invite him to after-work gatherings, but he politely declines. They label him as weird or antisocial, not understanding that Alex's contentment comes from his inner world, not external validation. Sigma communication style: the enigmatic quiet. Another factor is the Sigma male's communication style. Sigmas tend to be quiet and observant. They listen more than they talk, thinking deeply before sharing their thoughts. This can be misread as standoffishness or arrogance by people who expect extroverted social cues. Because Sigmas don't engage in casual small talk or gossip. They don't fit into the typical friend groups where bonding often happens through shared banter or trivial conversations. They value deep, meaningful discussions, but rarely initiate or sustain long, casual interactions, which is the staple of many friendships. Example: consider John, a college student who often stays quiet in group settings. His classmates assume he's shy or uninterested in friendship. However, when John opens up about his passion for philosophy, those moments are intense and memorable. But such moments are rare and selective. The Sigma's selective trust is another crucial issue. Sigma males are highly selective about whom they let into their inner circle. Because they value independence and self-reliance, they are cautious about depending on others or exposing vulnerability. Friendships require emotional investment, and Sigmas often view this as a risk, especially when many friendships are transactional or based on convenience. Over time, many Sigmas have learned to be self-sufficient, avoiding the disappointment that can come from broken trust. This protective wall around their emotions reduces the number of people who genuinely get close to them. Why friendships often don't last. Even if a Sigma male forms friendships, these tend to be fewer and far between, often ending when they sense the relationship becoming shallow or restrictive. Sigmas dislike social obligations or forced interactions, elements common in many friendships. When friends expect regular hangouts, emotional support, or sharing personal issues, the Sigma may feel trapped or overwhelmed. This can result in Sigmas gradually withdrawing from social circles, further reinforcing their image as loners. They are not opposed to companionship, but only when it aligns with their values of freedom, authenticity, and mutual respect. The social hierarchy and Sigma male isolation. Within traditional social structures, Sigmas don't conform to the hierarchy. They neither seek to lead like alphas nor follow like betas. This outside-the-system position often means they don't find natural places within social groups. They exist on the fringes, observing but rarely engaging fully. This can cause others to perceive them as mysterious or intimidating, making it harder to approach them and form friendships. On the flip side, Sigmas may deliberately avoid mainstream social groups, preferring to forge unique paths. Part 2. Emotional walls and social consequences. The hidden price of Sigma solitude. In the first part, we explored the fundamental nature of the Sigma male: independent, selective, and often misunderstood. But beneath this composed exterior lies a complex emotional landscape shaped by years of self-reliance and guarded vulnerability. The isolation that comes with having few or no friends is not always a comfortable choice. It carries its own hidden costs and consequences. The emotional armor of the Sigma male. Take the story of Liam, a Canadian graphic designer living in Toronto. Outwardly, Liam seems calm and confident, thriving in his solitary creative pursuits. Yet behind the scenes, his emotional armor is thick. Years of relying on himself have taught him that opening up to others can lead to disappointment or exploitation. Liam recalls a few close friendships from his youth that faded when he refused to conform to group pressures or share personal struggles. The lesson was harsh, but clear. Emotional vulnerability could be a weakness in a social environment that often favors surface-level connections. For many Sigma males like Liam, this emotional armor is both a shield and a prison. It protects them from pain, but also blocks meaningful intimacy. Friendships, which demand emotional sharing and trust, are often sacrificed to maintain this self-protection. The paradox of loneliness. Although Sigma males don't seek validation from others, they are not immune to loneliness. The difference is that their loneliness is often internal and unspoken. Unlike extroverted individuals who might feel loneliness as social deprivation, Sigmas experience it more as a quiet void, a longing for meaningful connection that is difficult to satisfy. Consider Ethan, a software engineer in Vancouver. Ethan rarely socializes outside work, but feels a persistent undercurrent of solitude, especially during long winter months. He doesn't crave a large social circle, but wishes for a few genuine friends who understand his quiet nature. This paradox, wanting connection but fearing the vulnerability it requires, traps many Sigma males in a cycle of isolation. They crave companionship, but push people away when intimacy grows too demanding. Social skills and the Sigma disconnect. Another reason Sigma males have fewer friends lies in social skill dynamics. Because Sigmas often prefer solitude and introspection, they might lack practice or patience with typical social rituals that build friendships, like small talk, casual humor, or group activities. Take Noah, a Canadian entrepreneur who spends most of his time developing innovative apps. Noah admits that he finds networking events exhausting and prefers email or written communication. This communication style, while effective professionally, limits spontaneous social bonding opportunities. Sigma's preference for deep, purposeful conversations can unintentionally alienate those who seek lighter interactions. This mismatch in social style contributes to the difficulty of forming and maintaining friendships. Emotional detachment and its social impact. Sigma males' emotional self-reliance sometimes crosses into emotional detachment. They prefer to solve problems internally rather than sharing burdens with friends. While this is a strength in many ways, it can make Sigmas seem distant or uninterested. Take Michael, a Canadian artist living in Montreal. When friends reach out with personal problems, Michael often offers practical advice, but avoids emotional displays or empathy. Over time, friends perceive him as cold or uncaring, which pushes them away. This emotional distance is not intentional cruelty. It's a byproduct of the Sigma's inner logic. Emotions are managed privately to maintain control and independence. The social consequences, misunderstandings, and stereotypes. Because of these emotional and social dynamics, Sigma males often become victims of stereotypes, labeled as loners, weird, arrogant, or even antisocial. These labels make it harder for others to approach them and harder for Sigmas to explain their nature without sounding defensive. For example, Jacob, a Calgary-based writer, finds that people frequently misunderstand his quiet demeanor as arrogance or aloofness. This misunderstanding creates a social barrier that limits genuine connection. The result is a vicious cycle. Sigmas withdraw, people misjudge them, and Sigmas withdraw further. The role of modern society. Modern social norms and technology also influence the Sigma's social experience. Social media encourages constant connectivity, superficial interactions, and public sharing, behaviors Sigmas naturally resist. This cultural mismatch amplifies their isolation as they don't play the social game the way others. Part 3. Navigating Solitude. Sigma Males, Coping, and the Question of Friendship. Having explored the nature, emotional dynamics, and social consequences of Sigma male isolation, we arrive at a crucial question. How do Sigma males cope with their solitude, and do they truly want friendships? The answer is complex and reveals much about the Sigma's unique psychology and worldview. Embracing solitude as strength. For many Sigma males, solitude isn't merely a state of being alone, it is a conscious choice and a source of strength. Unlike loneliness, which is often unwanted, solitude is valued for the space it creates to reflect, recharge, and pursue personal growth. Take Oliver, a software architect living in Ottawa. Oliver cherishes his weekends alone, reading, coding, and hiking in nature. He feels that this solitude sharpens his creativity and clarity of mind. To Oliver, solitude is the foundation of his independence and mental well-being. This embracing of solitude is a defining trait of Sigma males. They often find deeper fulfillment in inner development than in external social validation, which explains why they accept or even prefer having no large friend groups. Selective and deep connections. That said, many Sigma males do desire some level of human connection, but on their own terms. They seek few but deeply meaningful friendships that respect their independence and need for space. Consider Matthew, a Montreal-based writer who maintains close relationships with just 2 friends from childhood. Their bond is built on mutual understanding, intellectual curiosity, and freedom. No pressure to socialize constantly or share every detail of life. This approach contrasts sharply with typical friendships, which often rely on frequent interaction and emotional exchange. For Sigmas, the quality of connection matters more than quantity. Coping mechanisms, finding balance. Sigma males develop unique coping strategies to balance their need for solitude with inevitable social interaction. These may include creative outlets. Many Sigmas immerse themselves in solitary creative activities like writing, art, or music. These provide emotional expression without social exposure. Nature and physical activity. Hiking, running, or solitary sports allow mental reset and stress relief while maintaining independence. Minimal but intentional socializing. Attending select events or keeping a small circle of close friends allows Sigmas to engage socially without overwhelming their boundaries. Philosophical or spiritual pursuits. Reflecting on life's meaning, practicing meditation, or studying philosophy helps Sigmas find peace with their solitary nature. Take Dylan, a Vancouver-based entrepreneur who practices daily meditation and dedicates Sunday afternoons to solo cycling trips. These routines help him maintain mental balance and avoid the negative effects of social isolation. Friendship, necessary or optional? The question remains, do Sigma males need friends? The answer varies individually, but generally, Sigmas do not see friendship as a social obligation or identity marker. Instead, friendship is a possible complement to their self-sufficient life. Some Sigmas find profound satisfaction in solitude and prefer to remain largely friendless. Others welcome occasional meaningful friendships, but are careful not to let these relationships compromise their autonomy. This attitude challenges mainstream ideas of friendship as essential to happiness. Sigma males redefine friendship as a chosen and rare connection rather than a social norm. The double life of Sigma males. Interestingly, some Sigma males live a kind of double social life, outwardly interacting in professional or social contexts, but internally remaining detached. They can be socially adept when needed, but quickly retreat to solitude once the interaction ends. Take Noah, the entrepreneur from Part 2. He excels in business meetings and networking, but views these encounters as transactions rather than emotional connections. His true self is reserved for his private space, where he can recharge. This duality allows Sigma males to function in society while preserving their core need for independence and solitude. Growth and transformation. It is important to recognize that being a Sigma male and having few or no friends isn't necessarily a fixed destiny. Many Sigmas learn over time to balance their independence with selective vulnerability, enabling deeper connections without losing themselves. For example, Jacob, the writer from Calgary, gradually opened up to a trusted few, discovering that allowing some vulnerability did not threaten his autonomy, but enriched his life. This growth often requires conscious effort and self-awareness, as it goes against the Sigma's default protective instinct.